Hey Warda, can you hear me? I know you can't see me, but can you hear me? Hey Jason, can you guys hear me? Okay, cool. And whoops. And can you see me now? You can hear me and see me. Yes. Yes. Fantastic. And hey, am I echoing? I'm using my Bluetooth, so I shouldn't be. Looks good. Okay, cool. Hey Zach. Awesome. So no matter what, my dog is going to love this webinar, which he attends all the webinars, and he's sold every time. You can hear my dog too. Awesome. You can hear him breathing and sleeping. Jason, I think when we had our call, he was on our call. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, he joins me for everything. And you can tell it's not pre-recorded because like normally halfway through he'll hop off the couch and he'll be like, "All right, I want to go out. Can you let me out?" So, Zach, what kind of dogs do you have? And how old are they? He is living his best life. Zach, how old are your dogs? They're both 9. Pitbull, Vizia. What's a Vizia? And Boxer German Shepherd. Pitbull, Vizia, Visla. Is that how it's pronounced? Visla. And Boxer German Shepherd. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, he's 13, so that's why he sleeps all day. He's actually funny. He'll bark when someone comes to the house. He'll bark from that position. Like he doesn't get up, he doesn't move, he just barks. And then he'll like look if he knows them. And if he doesn't, if he doesn't know him, he'll get up and then he'll like act like he cares. But it's pretty chill dog. Oh, okay. Vishla. Hey Cheryl, good morning. Cheryl, where are you from? Zach, I didn't ask you that. Where are you from? Warda, you work for us, so I know where you're from. And then Jason, I know you told me where you were based, and it's slipping my mind. I'm sorry. We talked for like an hour, and I don't remember where you're based. Madison, Wisconsin. Nice. Is it humid and hot right now? That's right. That's right, Jason. You're in Houston. Houston, I know is hot. Cheryl, you're in the Bay. We're in the Bay Area, California Bay Area, or like Northern Bay. Or I've talked to people in LA, and they're like, "We're from the Bay Area." I'm like, "Which Bay?" So like Silicon Valley, Cheryl. So I'm notorious for calling on people, so I'm going to start doing that. I see Cheryl, who told us where she's from. Bill, where are you from? Joyce, where are you from? Melanie, where are you from? Gigi, where are you from? And then Keith, where you all from? I'm Southern originally, so I say y'all a lot. Northern Virginia near DC. Okay. Do you know where Gainesville, Virginia is? You probably do. Vegas. I've always wondered what it would be like to live in Vegas. I'm sure Bill has some stories. Oh, your brother's in Reading. Oh, that's super cool. Oh, and Melanie's in Reading. Oh, great. And so what brokerage is I assume everyone here is a real estate agent. What brokerage is everybody from? We'll get started here in a minute or so. Newport Beach. Nice. I have a very funny story about Newport Beach, which I will not share on this call. Gainesville is just around there. I know Gainesville really well, actually. I had an ex-girlfriend that lived there, so I was there all the time. Scott, you're with KW. Scott, it's good to see you. Scott's one of our new clients, so if it's the same Scott, it might not be. You're with Zach's with EXP. Cheryl, you're with a boutique firm under your name. Okay, cool. So we have a good mix. So there's a couple EXP folks, KW folks, boutique. Okay, great. Well, this webinar isn't. You're with Real, Rod. You're with Real. Oh, that's awesome. I have a really good friend who has a huge Real team in Canada. So Real is doing really well in Canada right now. Melanie are with an independent broker, Waterman Real Estate. Okay, cool. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. And I like interactive, as you guys can tell. And my dog he'll sometimes bark because he doesn't hear anything because it's all on Bluetooth. So if he does, please forgive me and him. But I don't have the heart to take him out of my office because he loves it in here. So the question that I have for all of you is, what is the social media tool that you think is the most underutilized and extremely powerful? Right? There's 100 social medias out there, but which one would you say is that you in your practice underutilize the most? And I'll give you some choices. Scott just said LinkedIn. Okay. So the 5 choices would be LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat. So for Zach, for you, it's been Facebook. Scott, for you, it's LinkedIn. Okay. LinkedIn and TikTok. Melanie said, all right. Rod, Twitter and LinkedIn. All right, Jason. Rod, what about you? LinkedIn for sure, said Cheryl. Okay. Bill, for you, what is it? Joyce, for you, it's LinkedIn. Okay. Rod, it's LinkedIn, 100%. Okay, great. All right. So let me ask you all this now, and I think most of you know the answer to this. In Facebook, for Facebook friends, how many Facebook friends can you have before you're capped? What's the number? Bill said, I'm just starting out with social. Okay, cool. Well, this will be a very good learning exercise for you, Bill. Oh, by the way, everybody, and I'll talk a little bit. Melanie, you're spot on. Thank you. 5,000. That's exactly right. So before I jump into this presentation and we talk about this, let me just give very quick 5,000, 5,000. You guys are spot on. For Facebook, it is 5,000. That is correct. For now, let me ask another question. For LinkedIn, what's the number? For LinkedIn, what's the number? 5,000's for Facebook. What's the number for LinkedIn? I've met one person in my life who knows this. So if you don't know it, don't feel bad. It's not unlimited. It is not unlimited. It's high, but it's not unlimited. It's a lot more. It's 6 times the amount, 30,000, right? The number for LinkedIn is 30,000, okay? You can have 30,000 LinkedIn connections. Now, why is that so important? So think about why that's so important. But in the meantime, let me just do a very quick intro on me so you understand who you're talking to and why you would want to listen to me at all. So my name is Rahul. I currently live in Mazatlan, Mexico. I'm with eXp Mexico. I'm not a Mexican national. I'm a gringo. I'm American. That's not an offensive term. If anyone felt offended, gringo is not an offensive term. It just means a foreigner in Spanish-speaking country. It's a Greek term originally. Anyways, but I moved here 3 years ago, and my business varies, but in 2013, I sold my first company to Google, and my plan was to retire. And instead of retiring, I went down the entrepreneurship road again and started more companies, and sold some of them. Some failed, some didn't. I ended up starting a company called LinkedIn Listings, which was acquired by a company called WorkSource. And what LinkedIn Listings did was we helped realtors generate 15 to 20 listings, or not listings, but deals a year using LinkedIn, right? So my purpose for this webinar is, if you work with me at the end of this, great. And if you don't, that's okay too. I want to do this webinar for realtors. I have a passion for realtors. Hi, Mar. I have a passion for realtors. Commercial real estate put me through law school. I went to law school at Stanford. I didn't practice very much because I don't like lawyers. But I'm Indian, and my parents said, if you don't go to either law school or medical school, we'll actually murder you. And I believed it. So if anyone's Indian on this call, they know what that's like. And so commercial real estate's all I've done. Here in Mexico, I put together commercial syndications. We have about 35 properties in our portfolio of Carl's Jr.'s, McDonald's, Oxos, those types of this. Oh, okay, Marion. I was like, I know a Mar in Mexico, but not a. Okay, cool. Now I know you are. So, anyways, that's a little bit about my background. So, if you have any questions about how to do business internationally, there's a lot of opportunity for realtors, whether they're with a big brokerage or a small brokerage, to do a lot of business and make very good commissions on international deals, which is not what this presentation is about. It's about LinkedIn. All right, so realtors. Sorry, I have a very strong realtors. Yeah, I'm saying it really fast, Joyce. That's probably not going to change. I'll try, but super interested in that area. Which area? International real estate? International. Okay, great. All right, so we can talk about that offline. All right, so Joyce, how many? So it's 30,000 for LinkedIn. It's 5,000 for Facebook. Does anyone know what the number is for TikTok, for any of the other platforms? For TikTok, for Instagram, for Instagram and Facebook, by the way, is not the same. You would think it is. It's not. So the reason this is important is, if you can get to your caps, you can start marketing and milking those caps. Some great information. Cool. I'm glad you are. All right. So what I'd like everybody to do is, if you're in front of your computer, get on your computer, and I'm going to show you how to take advantage of the algorithm for LinkedIn. Okay. The place that most people fail in LinkedIn is they fail at the beginning. They don't take advantage of LinkedIn's algorithm, right? And so the problem that most realtors have, Joyce, did I say it right? The problem that most realtors have is that, if I didn't, can somebody correct me? I don't like bad English. it's a pet peeve. So I appreciate that I was corrected. Um, is that they fail in the beginning with the algorithm. When the algorithm is bad, you can't get LinkedIn to leverage you. And LinkedIn's algorithm has become so powerful that no, Joyce, thank you. Seriously, bad pronunciation is a pet peeve of mine. So I appreciate it when people say, "Hey, you're saying a word wrong," right? That's the only way we get better. So, but the way that you so is can everyone say they've got their LinkedIn profile up on their either their phone or their computer? And can we jump into what a proper LinkedIn profile should look like? Can I get a yes to that? Yes, let's go. Scott said yes. Correct. Carrick, am I saying your name wrong? I don't want to butcher your name. Is it Carrick? And Shastine, is it Shastine? I listen, I'm a name moron, so I literally butcher names all the time, and I don't like it. I can do Melanie. I think I can do Melanie. Yes, Gene said yes. Zach said yes. Scott said yes. Let's go. Carrick, did I say your name right? Yes, I did get it. Thank you, God. Shastine, I got your name. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and jump into this. This is Arsalan. He is a client of mine a new client actually in Silicon Valley. And I'm going to go through his profile specifically because his profile makes a lot more sense. Mine, you're going to see EXP Mexico and commercial syndications, and that's not going to help you. I want this to really help you. So the first thing you see on this is he has an image of a house, right? What I would recommend you do, and LinkedIn will ping you for this, is he got this image off of a free image site on homes. If your image that's back here is copywritten, all these companies are now running very serious AI, right, on the back end. So make sure if you're using your company image that somewhere in the image, and if you don't know how to do this, just you can always book a time with me and I can help you. In the image, there's a piece of code that says this is copyright free. Or I have permission, okay? Or if it's a copyright free image, which this one is, the AI knows because it's scanning those sites all the time. So make sure one, there's an image there, and two, it's a copyright free image. If it's not, you get what they call a minor soft tick against the algorithm. Does that make sense to everybody? Just if so, just put a yes in. Everyone's like, this got boring, I'm leaving. Yes. Okay, cool. Thank you. Awesome. So the next thing to do, and that's important, is you're all realtors and you all have nice pictures, right? So just put the nice picture that you have of yourself right here. All right. The next step, and this is, most people don't realize this, but right here, this is the most valuable asset that you have on LinkedIn. That is your most valuable asset. Those are your keywords. Okay. Now you see what Arsalan did here, or what we did for Arsalan here is it says Arsalan Badri, REO specialist, Elk Grove Realtor, all in his name. Why did we do that? Because we're taking advantage of keywords. Okay. Keywords, we all know what keywords are. We live in a Google world. Keywords are incredibly important. Well, from an SEO, a search engine optimization perspective for Google, if you optimize your LinkedIn, you're going to start seeing big bumps in your own SEO. So Scott is in Silicon Valley. Scott is in one of the markets, the two of the richest, most expensive markets in the world today for SEO are Silicon Valley and LA, right? Why is that? Well, Scott will tell you, he just picked up a client who graduated college and started a job at Google making more than $300,000 a year. His first job out of college. The kid's not 21 yet. First job out of college, he got a job making $300K a year. right? That's unheard of in the rest of the world, the rest of the country, the rest of the world for that matter. That's why the prices, one of the reasons the prices in those areas are so high. It's also the reason the competition for keywords for realtors is so high. So help yourself in your market by doing this. Now, if you notice how Arsalan's profile is set up, Elk Grove Realtor, right? And then that up bar, and then REO Specialist up bar, Greater Sacramento up bar, RDC Pro up bar, and so on. Why do we do it that way? Because that's how LinkedIn wants it, and that delineates keywords. Okay. So if you were to work with us, we would do all this for you. We would build this out for you for your market. All right. But if not, if you're doing this on your own and you don't want to pay anybody, just follow this and you'll see nice big bumps in your business. All right. Does all of that make sense so far to everybody? Juan said yes. Scott said keep going. Melanie, should I keep my maiden name in LinkedIn? Melanie, that's a very good question. What do you have for everything else? All of your marketing material, what do you have? Do you have your maiden name or do you have your married name? And Melanie, without her knowing it, she touched on a very good point called continuity of marketing. So there's a guy on this call who I don't use my maiden name on anything else. Well, then don't use your maiden name here, right? How do I get an up bar? How do I get an up? What do you mean an up bar? Oh, an up bar. It's on your keyboard. I have a keyboard computer I bought in Mexico. So it's my board is a little different than yours. Just Google like where do I get the up bar, and it'll pop up with the key is. Or if anyone knows where the key is on a standard American keyboard, if you could tell them, that'd be great. So yeah, so Melanie, there's this concept, and there's a guy on this call, Jason, who's a marketing genius, right? Like he makes marketing look like he's actually one of the best people I've seen at marketing. You're all in his Facebook group. There's this construct called continuity of marketing, and all the algorithms are looking that your information across platforms is the same. It's above enter for whoever needed the up bar. It's above enter. All right, Carrick. So Melanie, continuity of marketing. So on your Facebook, the same type of messaging should be going out. On your Instagram, the same type of messaging. On your LinkedIn, the same type of messaging. You have the same type of messaging going out, the algorithms are going to love you. If you have very disjointed messaging, so LinkedIn says one thing, Instagram says another, Facebook says another, TikTok says another, you're doing yourself a great disservice trying to get everybody. The algorithms do not like that, right? It's the same reason all of your mentors will say, pick a niche and go own that niche, right? Because generalists don't make money. People that are specialized make a lot of money. All right, so the next few things to look at is if we scroll down here to the About section, most real estate professionals, most realtors have nothing here. They have maybe one paragraph or like 3 lines. LinkedIn wants this full of paragraphs. Now, I understand nobody reads it. I get it. Nobody's going to read this. The only thing that human eyes are going to look at, and we know from heat maps, is they're going to look at the first 2 sentences. That's it. That's the only thing human eyes are going to look at. All right? That we're not writing this for human eyes. We're writing this for the algorithm. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? So, and you can put in really whatever you want. There are some very specific things to put in, which is what are you good at and what do you like to do? Or what are you good at from a real estate perspective and what is your history in real estate? Which is, if you look at what Arsalan did, he talked about his history in real estate. Carrick, you just said, are the keywords placed in the headline? Yes, they are. That section is the headline. That is correct. All right. Is this, by the way, is this valuable for everybody so far, or no? Do you want me to just talk about now where do the leads come from? Is this, if this isn't valuable for anybody, then I'll move on. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Scott's very direct. He's like, keep moving, which is good. I like that. All right, awesome. So let's go to the next part of this profile. Um, Now, if you notice what his activity is, LinkedIn likes posts, but you'd be surprised. They don't like posts as much as Facebook likes posts, and they don't like posts as much as Instagram likes posts, but they do like them. And by the way, all of you are already posting on Facebook, or okay, I'm making a very broad assumption. Those of you who are on this call, are you posting content anywhere on any social medias right now? If you are, just say yes or put a Y in the chat. Or do you have a service doing it for you? You are, yeah, you are. Jason, you are. Okay, great. Uh, So you know, all those posts that you have that you're posting in, those same exact posts can show up in LinkedIn, and it costs nothing to do. And there's tools to use that we provide that do it automatically, right? So every single post, the identical post, it doesn't have to be changed at all, that is being posted in Instagram or YouTube or Facebook can be posted in LinkedIn. If you start doing that and just that, you will see massive upticks in your algorithm on LinkedIn. All right. I do, and also my company does. Okay, great. Well, Vicky, that's perfect. Vicky, who are you with by chance? And then is your name pronounced Ialia? Is that correct? Did I say that right? Ialia? I'm sure I killed that one. Let me know if I said your name properly and what brokerage you're with. All right. So as I move on, the next thing, and who said, was it Melanie who said, can I post Arsalan's? Cheryl said, can I post Arsalan's profile? I can absolutely post his profile. Also, if you book a time with me, I'll, whether you buy from me or not, I don't really care. But if you book a time with me, I will do a personalized walkthrough on your LinkedIn profile for you. All right. So, and I'll give you a link to Arsalan's profile that does this walkthrough as well. All right. So the next thing that's really important is this is experience. Again, most people, and Alia, did I say her? It's E is silent, so it's Alia. Alia. That's cool. I dated a girl in college named Ali. So, but she pronounced it. There was no E there. So she was from Kuwait. Kuwait. Anyway, so experience. All right. This is what's very different. This is very important for experience. So Joyce, in your case, if there's different audiences, I would, if I was talking to you one-on-one, I'd say which audience is your Facebook targeting, which audience is your Instagram targeting and your YouTube targeting, because LinkedIn's algorithm works best with those platforms. And we would want to take the power of LinkedIn and push it into those. So the next thing is experience. This is where a lot of folks fail, is they don't put anything in experience. And in experience, you want to go about 10 years back. LinkedIn's algorithm stops at the 10-year mark. It just stops. It stops recording anything. It only looks at the first 10 years, right? So so that's really kind of an important key to this. Hey, Warda, that's not the link. Can you just grab the general link? It's not that one though. For my calendar. So don't, if anyone sees that calendar link, don't use that calendar link. It's not that one. So yes, I post on Facebook and Instagram. All right, great. So 10 years back. The other thing, very important, add content. Now I know I hear this from all my clients, but no one's reading that, Rahul. Why are we adding it? Because the algorithm's reading it. And that's why we add it, because the algorithm's reading it. Okay. And so now I'll kind of finish up with this. Has anyone heard of the thing called giver's gain? Has anyone heard of this, like this idea of giver's gain? When you give out, good things come back. Some people call it karma. Some people call it, there's a lot of things people call it. The golden rule. Yeah, I'm sure I'm not the only one. Yes. Yeah, yes, okay. So LinkedIn really likes this, right? They really, really like this. If you've received one, you need to have given one, right? And he's given one, he's received one. It happens to be from the same person. What they really want to see though is you've gone and given to people that are not the ones you received it from. Okay. So and we're in the process of doing this for our salon now and reaching out to his network and getting recommendations and then writing he's writing recommendations for other people, right? They want to see an equal number within a delta of one or two, right? So that's the right link for it. And I'll post that as a sticky note. All right, so if anyone books a time with me, I'll go through your sorry, I can't do two things at once. I'm posting this as a sticky note on the so if you look in the chat on the top, you'll see my calendar link. Um, Book a time and I'll go through your LinkedIn profile with you. And we'll record the call and I'll give it to you. So you don't have to build off of our salon, so you can just build off of your own. All right. Now the last thing is how many people on this call speak another language? And maybe not speak fluently, but at least understand another language. And I'm from the South, so redneck is not another language. It's a dialect. Okay, who else? Do you speak French, Mariana? So what you want to do, if you speak another language, no matter what your level of proficiency is you want to put it here. Okay, you want to put it here. All right. All right. So now that is, oh, Croatian. Did I know that? Y'all, the actual that's funny. Turkish, Croatian. Okay, cool. Wow, this is very cool. I was just in Turkey. I was in Greece and Turkey. Okay, so everybody who speaks another language, make sure you put it there. Why is that important? Why is it important as a realtor, especially? And for everyone who doesn't speak another language, if you have a VA, if you have a member on your team who does, who can actually join you for calls with people that speak other languages, the reason this is so important for real estate professionals is LinkedIn likes to see people that have a broad, that's why the algorithm matters. They like to see people with a broad level of experience, right? And if there's another language spoken, Spanish in particular, they're going to force your profile to the top of the algorithm. Now, let's talk about what that means. Right now, most people don't know this, but for business related searches, including homes, LinkedIn falls behind Google, right? It's above Facebook, falls behind Google. Okay, think about the power of that. People are going to LinkedIn to search for Realtor Sacramento, Realtor Santa Clara County, Realtor Houston, Texas, right? They're going now. Why is that important? If you're optimized, you'll show up in LinkedIn at the top of that list. And how do you optimize? You do exactly what we just talked about here on LinkedIn. All right. Now, I'm going to talk about how that's one thing, and that's nice. That'll get you maybe 2 deals a year, having an optimized profile. So out of the 15 to 20, that's 2 deals a year. Now, in 15 minutes, I'm going to talk about how do you very proactively go out and get 15 to 20 deals a year. And then the last 10 minutes, I'm going to stay around for questions and answers. Is that fair for the rest of this call, everybody? Jason, is that fair for the rest of the call, or do you think it's not? Zach said yes. Molly said yes. Okay, cool. Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and Scott, I love it. All right, so Sales Navigator is a tool that LinkedIn has. It's a tool that I highly recommend everybody get. If you don't want to, Cheryl's like, let's go. Cheryl, I like you. I like it. Um, it's a tool that we recommend our clients get. If you don't want to get LinkedIn, it's $90 a month. If you don't want to get LinkedIn, you can probably assume you're going to get about 10 deals a year. If you get LinkedIn, Linked Sales Navigator, you'll get 15 to 20 deals a year. I don't know how much you make on a deal, but it's probably more than $90, just saying. Now, can we all agree that it's more than $90? Maybe I should. I mean, I have a client in Cincinnati. She's like, sometimes it's not more than $90. So this is why LinkedIn is so valuable. Let me ask you, Cheryl, what market are you in? Cheryl, we'll use you as the example. What market are you in? Or anybody, if you want to drop in what market, where the first person who puts a city in, Silicon Valley. Awesome. All right, so Cheryl, this is a good example. The way that we can very easily, at a 90% probability rate, tell if somebody's sorry, so Cheryl dropped it in first. So at a 90% probability rate, the way we can tell if someone's a buyer or seller is by looking at what their job title is. Okay, so in Silicon Valley, as in Toronto, as in Vancouver, Washington, it's the same for all these places. If you go into a tech company, or if you are in Houston, Texas, if you go into an oil and gas company, and you look at everybody who's a director level or above in oil and gas, or in Silicon Valley, director level and above, these are people that are making over $250,000 a year. Would you say that they're homeowners or are they renters? And Cheryl, in Silicon Valley, a salary of 250 is not what's important. A director in tech has what? Stock options, right? They're using their options to buy. So let me ask the question a different way. They're owners, right? They're owners. Cheryl, director level with $4 million in stock option, owner, or exactly, owners. Okay, great. So everyone hold on to that. Now, if we go into Tampa, I was born in New York, raised in Florida. I know Tampa really well. There's huge hospitals in Tampa. Directors of hospitals are making $300, $350 a year, right? Those are homeowners. So, but we'll use Silicon Valley as the example. So let's go to lead filters. By the way, you can tell this is not recorded, pre-recorded, because I'm doing it with you. So, and let's go to Google. Let's look at Google included, and we'll go to what city, Cheryl, what city do you want to pick in the Valley? I'm gonna go with Santa Clara because Scott's in Santa Clara, and so I'll help both of you. Clara, Santa Clara County. We'll include the whole county because it's a massive county. What? We to hear what you're sharing. Please continue. Check in every 10 minutes. Thanks, Mel. Is it Mia? How do you know? I was gonna ask you about your name. Is it Mia? Me? Put it in the chat. All right. Santa Clara County, California. All right. Also, the reason I ask everybody is I want to make sure everyone's getting value. And I know people will leave if they're not getting value, but I'd rather you there's a lot of in LinkedIn to get value out of. So I'd like everyone to get the value. All right. So, and then let's look at their function would be engineering. And then director, seniority level, we would say director. And we don't even need to be engineering. We can look at everyone. Okay. So this is Santa Clara County. All right. I did a very specific group of people at Google in Santa Clara County who are on LinkedIn as directors of engineering. Okay. Okay. So, and what's the number that comes up? It's 1,000 plus. 1,000 plus people. Now, unlike Facebook, where you can't go to Facebook and do this type of searching. I can tell you guaranteed. Why? Because Google they're a publicly traded company. We linked listings runs AI that sits on top of LinkedIn, and we know exactly how much Samir Nanda is making. I can go into a computer and look. And so I know exactly how much he's making and exactly how much stock options he has. But even if you don't have that AI running, you know that a director of engineering in Google Cloud's platform is a homeowner. And if you know Silicon Valley, and Cheryl is here, and Scott's in Santa Clara, you know that they probably live in probably Cupertino, Los Gatos, Santa Clara, right? They live somewhere where the value of the home is over $1.5 million, right? Is that a fair statement, Scott? What I love about Scott is he's like, no, that's a terrible statement. The truth is X. So Scott, is that a fair statement? Or Cheryl? Yep. Okay, great. So what you would do now, and this is how you're going to get those listing leads. Cheryl agrees. Okay, great. Thank you. I'm glad the two Santa Clara County realtors are like, he's not full of it. The way you're going to get those listing leads is you start sending them very directed, specific messaging. Okay? Scott says yes. Yeah, Molly, that's true. I was a little nervous. All right. My dog was like, I think he's nervous. We're going to send all of these people. First, we're going to send them connection requests. Okay. Then once they connect with us, we start sending them very specific messaging. And the question is, how many messages do we send them? We send them 20. We send them 20 messages. We're not sending them messages saying, hey, I know you're ready to buy your house right now. Hey, I know you want, sell your house right now. Hey, I know you want to sell your house. No, we're just touching in with them. You know, those same market reports that you give to all of your clients, we're giving them to these folks also. Now, there's something very important. It's called opt-in law, right? So like I said, I used to be a lawyer. LinkedIn and Facebook, what the law says, and there was that big congressional mess where Zuckerberg was dragged in front of Congress. Y'all remember that a few years ago? One of the things that came out of that, specifically for LinkedIn, is when somebody opts in, when they say yes to a connection, in their terms and services of LinkedIn, they're saying, yes, I'm agreeing to give you my email address, and yes, I'm agreeing to get messaging from you, right? And then, but you have to have an unsubscribe button, which we all know. So we then start sending them on a monthly basis messaging, right? Saying, I'm a realtor in the area, and this is a little bit about me. Now, why is that so valuable for LinkedIn more than any other place? It's a very simple, basic construct why LinkedIn makes it more powerful than Facebook or Instagram or any of those other places. And I'll just tell you because most people don't know. It's because it is not happening on LinkedIn. That's the reason. These folks from realtors they're not getting touched on LinkedIn. Facebook, people are getting hammered on Facebook about selling or buying property. And in Facebook, people are almost shut off to it. But because it's jarring enough in LinkedIn, because it's not happening, people like Samir or Everin or Greg, Maher, these are Indian names, so I can say them. It's like, oh, this is a new message. I haven't seen this on LinkedIn before. Let me stop and take a look. Where on Facebook or Instagram or Google, they're blocking it out. That's why, and because there's not many realtors doing it, right? I've talked to so many realtors. We have a lot of clients now who do this, saying, I'm shocked at the level of engagement I get using the same messaging that I've used before on a different platform, right? So that's what you would do for the sellers. Does that make sense? What I just said, does it make sense what you do? Now, yes, it's an automated process and we run tools to automate this, but if you didn't want to spend any money working with us, we charge $400 a month for a basic service. All right. So again, even if you don't want to pay me, book a time with me and I will show you how to do this. I don't need your money. And what I need is for you to make money and go out and impact your family and your friends. I'm not like your $400 isn't going to change my life, but you getting a lot of listings and helping other people, that'll change your life, and I'll be very happy about it. So book a time and I'll show you how to do this on your profile. All right. Now, does it make sense why we would target Samir to sell, to be a home seller? Molly, I have been telling my agent to start using LinkedIn rather than, good, Molly, good, thank you. I'm very glad that you've been doing that. They will make a lot more money using LinkedIn than they're using Facebook, okay? So we've got, I promised that I'd wrap up at 9:50. We have 10 minutes left. So this is how you would target sellers, all right? You would target sellers because you know that these people own homes. You target them with selling messaging, all right? Let me go back to Arsalan really quick. Arsalan, if you notice, it says REO specialist. He specializes obviously in REOs. So what we've done with Arsalan, we're targeting REO asset managers all over California, right? All Arsalan needs is 4 asset managers, and he does over $1 million in commissions a year, right? In a month, he's brought on 1. He needs 4. He's over $1 million in commissions. And do you know what the guy said to him who he brought on? The agent, the REO agent that he brought on said, no one's approached me about this on LinkedIn. I get hit up by realtors on Facebook. I get hit up by realtors on Instagram, but not one has reached out to me on LinkedIn. Right? It was enough of a change of messaging that made this guy stop and take a look at Arsalan. That's one of the reasons LinkedIn's so powerful. All right, now let's talk about how do I target buyers? How do I target buyers? So will you share the messaging? Could I CRM date? Yeah, just book a time with me, Molly, and we can talk about it. All right. Okay, so we used Silicon Valley for the example for sellers. Let's talk about buyers. So somebody give me another city, or there were other cities. Tampa. I think there was a Tampa. There was Tampa, Vancouver. After, oh, Cheryl said Silicon Valley. Marianne said Toronto. Okay, we'll use Toronto for the buyer's example. So Mariana, what are companies in Toronto that are big companies over, over 10,000 employees in Toronto? I don't know Toronto. And then while she's doing that, Molly, why don't you tell me in Tampa, what are big companies that have over 10,000 employees or headquartered out of Tampa? Microsoft is in Toronto. Molly, Amazon. Okay, great. Amazon and Microsoft are great. So we'll do both actually. We'll look at current company. We'll look at Amazon, or who said Mike? We'll say Microsoft. We'll go Microsoft first. Include, and then let's look at location. We will say Toronto. Greater Toronto. All right. And we will look at direct. Interesting. So there's only 1,000 employees. Well, not only, sorry, I say that like it's nothing. There's 1,000 employees in Microsoft Toronto right now that are on LinkedIn. All right. So let's look at seniority level is what makes the most sense. And we'll look at, not entry level, not director. Look at senior. Let me take director. Okay. So it's about 1,000 that we're going to get. Okay. It's about 1,000. So what I know about Microsoft is senior people who are senior but not director, right? Senior is right underneath director, generally speaking. Is they're at the cusp of buying a home, right? They're very close to buying a home. They've now accrued enough stock. They're not. This isn't Silicon Valley. A lot of those people are moving to Florida. Yeah, it's true. Oh, everyone's moving to Florida, Molly. We're all moving to Florida. So I'm wondering why I left Florida. So but these people are people that have either recently bought a home or they're at the cusp of buying a home. Carrick, there's a lot of ways to make this work, and I mean, I'm using these big examples, but you can absolutely make it work in a small town. I work with people in literally tiny towns in the middle of Kansas, and this works. This strategy and model works as long as people are on LinkedIn in that town. Where this doesn't work is in some international markets which aren't using LinkedIn yet. We have clients in Europe. We have clients in Central South America who are using the strategy for real estate. So it works all over, for sure it works all over the US. But book a time with me and we can talk about how it would work specifically in your market. When you find people on LinkedIn, how do you keep them in groups so you can send them messages about selling or buying? Bill, you asked a question that no one asked, and I'm so glad you did. Okay, so I will talk about that in the time for Q&As. But so just do me a favor, Bill, hold on to that question, and I'll bring it up in Q&As. All right, but very good question. So for these folks, and I'll be done with this in a few minutes, is we send them very specific buyer messaging, right? We send them messaging. It's similar to seller messaging, but you all know you're already doing this. Link to schedule. Molly, it's on the top of this calendar, top of this chat as a sticky message, but here, let me copy and paste it. There it is. So thanks, Warda, for dropping that in. Is the messaging that you would send to these folks would be a little bit different, right? You would talk about, and what I would suggest for these examples, now Carrick, for you, it would be different. The messaging would be different. But for these folks, you would send them messaging about the ability to use their stock options, right? The ability to use, and most people don't know this, but there's some really, Scott knows and Cheryl knows because they work in this stuff daily, but there's ways to get extra leverage on your stock options in buying a home. Like Google has programs which help you better leverage your stock options to buy homes, right? So that would be messaging. And 90% of employees at Google don't know that, right? Most employees in big companies don't actually know the benefits they have that are there to help them buy property. You, the realtor, knows that. And if you don't know that, we'll do the research for you and find it to create your messaging, right? Because we want you to get the deals. All right, so that's how this works. It's a very simple process. The challenge with it is it takes a lot to build the automations and then have it running. Because if you're doing this manually on your own, you're looking at like 5 to 6 hours a day, right? That's really what you're looking at, 5 to 6 hours a day of just being on LinkedIn. If we do it for you, it's all automated. And then when the people raise their hand and say, yes, I'm interested in you listing my property, that's when you see the message. Otherwise, you're combing through a lot of messages. But the point is, it can be done. It's not like you're forced to spend $400 a month and 90 on LinkedIn. No, you can do it manually. It's just very time consuming. All right, so let me answer Bill's question on groups, and then I'll be done. And if you want to get analysis on your particular situation, it's free. Just book a time with me. So Bill asked a freaking awesome question. Bill's question was this, is when you find people on LinkedIn, how do you keep them in groups so you can send them messages about selling or buying? Bill, you can create groups in LinkedIn just like you can create groups in Facebook, right? The challenge for groups though, and Jason, who's on this call, has done a very good job with this, most people don't, is people will build these big groups, but they don't keep them engaged, and then people forget about the groups, right? So if you're going to go down the road of a group and building a group, you're going to have to keep it engaged regularly. Now, unlike Facebook, LinkedIn, what happens with Facebook is if you build a big group and don't engage it, it doesn't matter. It's literally no harm, no foul. It matters zero. If you build a group on LinkedIn and you don't engage it and they don't see that you're posting at least 4 times a week consistently, they will severely ding your algorithm, like severely. They really don't like it. I don't know why. You would think they wouldn't care, but it's a big, big no-no. So it can be done. It's easy to do, but if you can't commit to 4 posts a week or 3 or so, like pick a number and stick to that number forever, then just be okay with your algorithm taking a very serious hit. All right. But it's a good strategy. I would recommend it if you can commit to a certain number of posts ongoing, for the foreseeable future. All right, so I'm done. If you have any questions, I will tell you this strategy generally, our clients are generally getting 15 to 20 deals a year, not a month, a year. When people connect with you, we also, the way it works on our end is they connect with you, they're getting ongoing messaging in LinkedIn. They're also getting ongoing email messaging. They're also getting ongoing text messaging, right? And then we have built funnels very similar to ClickFunnels. We have a CRM that you get for free as part of working with us. In fact, does anyone want to wait around and I'll show you what a current client's backend looks like? Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Let me share that screen with you so you guys can, so y'all can see what this looks like. All right, so there will be a link. So this is a current client, and this is their back end, right? Like these are all the leads that they have gotten, and I think there's well over 100 leads in here. They've been working with us for a while, right? So you get this. It's a CRM that you get, that you have access to, where it's very easy to go and look at your leads, look at the conversations that the system has had with them. It's just kind of how it works. But if you don't want to work with us, that's fine. But book a time and I'll go through your LinkedIn, and I will show you what needs to change. And like for you, Carrick, there will be a recording of this, Carrick. You will get a recording of this. All right. What questions does everybody have? Jason, thank you, by the way, for promoting this. I really appreciate it. It was very kind to you. Virginia, you're welcome. So any feedback would be great, or any questions that people have would be great. And I'll stay on as long as there's questions. So I'll see you later. See you at our call on Friday. Sounds good, Cheryl. I'll see you on Friday. Very useful information. Thanks. You're very welcome, Joyce. Thanks for coming. Alia, thank you. I said your name right. Thanks, Zach, for sure. You're welcome, Scott. Have a good one. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate that. Me, did I say your name right? I'm very curious. Did I butcher it, or did I say it correctly? No. So Carrick, no, there would not be a cost for that. It's free. Call me. Book a time with me. You don't have to take on any additional costs. Just book a time with me, and I would be more than happy to help you set up your profile. Seriously. And just so you know, something I've done with other realtors is if they send me referrals, I'll comp their service, right? So just so you know, that's available also. I've done that for a lot of people who just couldn't afford it. And I said, send me a referral that pays me, I'll comp your service. So, but even if you don't want to go down that road, May. Okay, it's May. All right. Thank you, May. I'm sorry. My name. My mom laughed. She's like, honey, your name is said with an accent. Like I can't even say my own name right. So it's sometimes a miracle that I say other people's names. Thanks, Carrick. So yeah, just book a time. Let me help you. You don't have to pay me, but let me help you. Jason, that's a great question. Jason asked, do you find LinkedIn clients are more in the luxury market? No. It really is very dependent on the market, right? So in Cincinnati, the people that are on LinkedIn aren't necessarily the luxury market. They're just the higher end of the real estate market, right? For sellers and for buyers, we would look at who are people who right now are in a time in their lives, in their careers, where they would be buying a house, right? The places where LinkedIn's a great play for luxury markets are luxury markets. And the places to play for non-luxury markets are non-luxury markets. What do I mean by that? So I'm in Mazatlan, Mexico, right? I sell $2 million homes in Mexico in cash. There's no financing system here. You have to pay cash. And so, and I'm selling to wealthy Europeans and wealthy Americans, right? The you're thanks, Joyce. My puppy, he's old actually, he's like 13, but to me he's always a puppy. But I'm using LinkedIn, Jason, to target Americans and Europeans who are sitting right now in Europe and in the US to buy property in Mexico, right? So it really it's a tool. It just depends on how you use the tool. But that's a very good question. Thank you for asking me. All right, everybody. Well, I'm going to go ahead and hang up. If there aren't any other questions, and it looks like there's about 20 of you left, but go ahead and book a time with me. Again, you don't have to buy anything. I really just want to help you build out your LinkedIn profile. So, and there's my calendar link. So, all right, I will go ahead and drop off this call. You will get a recording of this, a replay of this you'll get, and you'll get a link to my calendar to book as well. All right. Jason, thanks again. I'll shoot you an email. I really appreciate everyone's attendance and participation. These go a lot better when people are participating. So thank you everybody for participating. Adios, as we would say here, adios.